Alright, how you going everyone? Hope you're having a good day today. Today around here we got this cold wind and I swear it's making everyone go loony on the road because I nearly got wiped out several times going around to my suppliers today. So yeah, anyway, today we're doing a build. What a surprise! But this one will be a little bit different. This is a customer came to me with a list of what he wanted to get, but he left it to me to choose what products I think are good for the certain specs that he wanted. So these are ones that I've chosen for him, but following his guide of what he wanted. So it's sort of like a BYO but not sort of thing. Anyway, it's going to be a gaming PC, and we'll go over what I've picked, and he's agreed to it and gone with it. Right, so the first thing we'll look at is the CPU I've chosen for him. It's the Intel Core 7 Ultra 265K. I did look at going in the AMD option, but this is actually a little bit cheaper for him, and you don't lose huge amounts of performance. For the RAM, we're going 64 gigs of Corsair RAM, 6000 megahertz, because that's a nice sweet spot. So 2 sticks of 32. For storage, he wanted to have 1 terabyte for Windows, specifically wanted the Gen 5 NVMe, so that's what we've done. We've gone for the Crucial P510, so 1 terabyte for Windows, and a 2 terabyte version for his games. We're plugging into the MSI Z890 Gaming Plus Wi-Fi motherboard. It has the 5 gigahertz LAN and Wi-Fi 7 on it. So yeah, all the latest stuff. Going for a liquid cooler, and we've got a bit of a Lian Li build here because it all sort of will work with what we're trying to build in the case. But yeah, Lian Li GA2 Lite 360 performance. So yeah, it's a 360 millimeter liquid cooler. And for graphics, he went with a GeForce RTX 5070 Ti. He initially just wanted me to get him a gigabyte version, and I said no, I wouldn't do that. I've seen too many videos on Northwest Repair talking about how badly built the gigabytes are. So we've gone instead for an MSI Ventus 3X and the OC edition, which these days I don't think OC really does. I think everything's just OC, so I think it's just a way to put the price up a bit, to be honest. But anyway, yeah, 5070 Ti will be the graphics. And this is where going Lian Li for the liquid cooler and power supply in the case, just to keep it all the same. But this one in particular, because we've gone for the Lian Li Edge series, the 850G there, because the case is a little bit different, and so it's got the, you've probably seen this on one of my other videos, but it's got the little L plate, so you can easily just click your cables in, so it makes cable management quite nice. And I've actually got one of these in my own case, but I've got a 1000-watt one, and yeah, they're whisper quiet, really nice, and those connectors are super easy to work on. And now I'll show you why it's going to be handy for this case. So this is a LanCool 207 by Lian Li, and it's a little bit unique. So we'll just take the side off here. So I'm kind of excited about this one. There we go. But yeah, you'll see power cord in here, and it runs from the back. So you plug your power in the back like that, and the power cord runs over to here, and that's where your power supply goes. So very different. So the back of the power supply will be here, this power cord will plug into the back of it, and this is where having the edge power supply is really handy because it'll stick out the back, and yeah, then the L plate will come right here, so all your power cords will just click, 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 really easy. So yeah, it's an interesting design because normally you'd have your power supply here, but instead now they've got like dry bays and stuff in there. So that's pretty cool. There's extra routing for cabling, so this case is really well designed in terms of cable management. And it's got these really huge fans in the front too, so easy to remove dust filter. And then you can see here we got the two 140mm Lian Li fans on the front. So the 140mm will spin a little bit slower and keep it quieter while moving a lot of air. So that's a very nice touch. We're probably going to mount the liquid cooler on the roof, mainly because those fans are pretty well set up, so I don't really want to disturb that. So yeah, we'll put the 360mm up there. And the other interesting thing is they include two 120mm GPU fans that blow up. So they're installed in the base there. So that's another unique feature, quite interesting. And it also comes with a built-in GPU sag bracket. The only thing that's pretty cool, but from what I've been reading online more and more, is having the sag bracket way out on the end of the card is not the best, but it's better than nothing. So yeah, built-in sag bracket. That's pretty nifty. So it's definitely a more interesting case than what we've been dealing with before. So yeah, I'm pretty excited to build this one. And of course, once it's all done, we'll do some benchmarks. Alright, well I think we're ready to start making this. So as usual, we'll start with the motherboard. He's doing a brand new build, so we don't need to copy any data. So I'm going to pre-install all the SSDs and everything straight up, and get the liquid cooler bracket on, things like that, as you've seen in my other builds. And then yeah, we'll see how it all fits into this new type of case. Alright, I just wanted to show you this before we get into installing the stuff on the motherboard, because I came across this on my own computer recently, and it's something I've just recently learnt, is that on your motherboard you should always check what each NVMe M.2 slot runs at, because they don't all run at the PCIe 4 or 5 standard. And I discovered that on my own computer, slot 3 was actually running in Gen 3 mode, and then the other ones ran in Gen 4. So I was actually losing performance because I had a Gen 4 M.2 sitting in the one slot that is running at Gen 3. So it's just something you need to check before you load up your stuff. And what I've discovered with this particular computer is only the first slot is Gen 5. The rest are running at Gen 4. So unfortunately, we're not going to get full performance out of the 2TB, but it's all backwards compatible, so it'll still work. But we're not going to be able to achieve Gen 5 type speeds on the 2TB drive, but the Windows drive will run at the full Gen 5. So yeah, just something to think of when you go to make a PC, especially if you're going to have multiple NVMe's in there. Just be aware that not every slot is just going to be Gen 4 or Gen 5. Yeah, they vary them, And as you can see, slot number 4 is the only slot that takes the SATA M.2 SSD. So all the other ones would not work with it. That's another thing I've had people do. They buy a new motherboard and they put in their old SATA SSD and wonder why it won't detect, because yeah, you got to plug it into the correct slot. Anyway, that's just a little tidbit. So now we will move to setting up this motherboard. So here's the motherboard. So yeah, nice design on it. It's going to look really good in the case. So we'll get stuck into it and get this loaded up. Okie doke, so there we have it. We've pre-installed the memory, the CPU, the liquid cooler bracketing, and the 2 NVMe's. I had to actually add the little screw to hold the NVMe on there because it doesn't come pre-installed, so you just had to put the little screw in. And they give you this little tool for doing it up, which is pretty sweet. So yeah, all nice and ready. So next step will be to drop this into the case. It is a motherboard that comes pre-installed with a built-in I/O shield, which is lovely, so we don't have to worry about those tongues getting stuck into the USB ports and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll get the case up here and change camera angles, and so you can see what I'm doing. Alright.
Camera 1, camera 2, camera 3.
Alright, so now we've got the case laid down and in position. Thought I'd try a slightly different camera angle today, and I've made sure all the mounts for the motherboard are in place, and it's all correct. And then yeah, you can probably see this a bit better this time is these screws I keep talking about that have the little notch on the top, so that when you put your motherboard in, it holds it into place. And so we're just going to gently bring it in. And you'll see that screw, little knob, will actually catch and hold the motherboard in place, and all the screws are just lining up perfect, so that's in nice and neat. Alright, let's get these screwed in. It looks like my battery is starting to get low on the screwdriver. Nope, that one doesn't want to go in, so that's why I have it set to the lightest clutch, because yeah, sometimes you get some dodgy screws that actually don't have something wrong with the thread, and then it won't actually screw in. And if you force it, what happens is it binds into the socket of the, and then you can't get the screw out later on. So yeah, shouldn't have to force the screw. Alright, so our motherboard is in. Well, I'm going to do the power supply next so that I can run these 8-pin power connectors and connect them before we put the liquid cooler in the way. It'll probably be a lot easier to do it then instead of later. So yeah, we'll get to see how this new way of connecting the power supply goes.
A few moments later.
Alright, so I've got the power supply out, and as you can see, we have the L plate type system. So all your connectors are down here, and the way it's going to work is we're going to install it. This end will come to the back here, and then all those connectors go down there. The good thing about this system is we don't have to connect the cables first. We can actually put them in once the unit's in place, whereas normal power supplies I would normally connect the power connections that I need, the cables I need, before I slipped it into the case. The other cool thing about these Lian Li's is they have a removable magnetic dust filter, so you can actually clean the fan on your power supply really well. Yeah, it means you can actually keep your power supply a lot cleaner than other ones and make it last longer, which is great. So we'll just slip this in, since we don't have to put the cables in straight away. And there you go, so you can see it comes into there, and then we'll just do this up. Yep, my battery's almost gone. Alright, and then yeah, that's the little power cord we saw that goes underneath here, and then the idea is you run it down under here and you plug it in, and you make sure that's flipped to on because you won't be able to change it later on. I won't put the little panel back yet because I may need to get in here to do something. So we'll just flip it around the other way. So yeah, I'm going into a bit more detail this time, mainly because the case is a bit more on. Great, there goes my drill. Alright, so for this build, we only need 24-pin power for the motherboard, the 12-volt high power for the graphics, and the 2 8-pin power for the CPU, and that's it. So because everything is on the motherboard pretty much, we're not having any SATA type connections at all, so we don't need any of that. Another thing I've discovered too is the 2 front fans and the GPU fans are daisy chained, so there's only one connector. So yeah, one connector here too. So that's pretty nice. Simplifies things. And they've got a block for the front panel. Yes, much better. Love that. Alright, so we'll connect these. We'll do the 8 pins first. So yeah, the 12 volt high power on the Lian Li's is quite good as well. It's comparable to the MSI, where they have this blue tip on the cable to make sure that you get it seated fully, because that's very important that it is seated correctly. So when we plug this in, you should not see any blue sticking through there. Now I'll put the 24 pin on. Alright, cables are connected. So the next step will be to run these CPU 8 pins. On this motherboard they're actually on this side. Normally most motherboards put them over in the corner. I actually like the fact they put it over there. It's actually easier to wire it up. And this one I'm probably going to run through here. And that one, I'm not actually sure we're going to run this one, because normally it'd go up underneath, but oh no, I can still do that. I'll do that. Run the high definition audio cable. That's easy. There's that over here. Alright, I might just spin around this way now. Alright. So yeah, we'll connect these two 8 pins. These Lian Li power supplies come with these power cable combs to make them look really neat. So another little feature that I think's quite nice. Alright everyone, well that's where we're going to have to call it quits for part 1. Unfortunately time has run out, and we'll take it up with the liquid cooler and then the video card and tidying it up and putting some benchmarks through this machine, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I did run into a bit of a problem with this case, but I'm not going to spoil it for you, as you'll have to watch the next part to find out why it may be a deal breaker for some people. But it is a unique case and it has some really good ideas, but we'll see what I mean in the next part. I'd really like to thank you guys for watching my videos and making comments and likes, and really love it if you could give me a subscription as well. I have been continually investing into my channel. I've just recently got some new lapel mics, which I will start to be using in videos, but it won't be immediately because I film ahead of time, so those mics won't show up until a few more videos, but hopefully it'll start to make things a lot better and you'll be able to hear me a lot clearer. So yeah, I'm continually trying to improve my videos, make it more enjoyable for you and clearer, and it's partly why I like to make these two-parters, because I like to show a lot of detail in my builds, so that you can actually build at home and with a bit of confidence and not make mistakes that can be costly. That's what a lot of the jobs I get, is people making mistakes and end up costing them more money than they need to. So yeah, hopefully it's all useful to you guys. And anyway, I guess I'll see you in part 2, and until then, have a great week. Catch you later.